Ali, are you there, my love?
I'm
Because
here, babe. I was watching you.
oh, you were watching me there, Ali. Oh my God, look at you. How you doing, gorgeous?
Good. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too. I remember when we were talking before, before it came out that you had gotten this part, and you were
Yeah.
so excited. Like this was like, did you know Landman was going to be that good, or were you just excited to be in the Taylor Sheridan universe?
Look, it was a very arduous casting process. I mean, I did it for 3 months. I auditioned 3 times, and then I had to fly to Fort Worth to screen test against 10 other women.
No.
Um,
Were they
so it
there?
was like they slowly rolled out the material. So it started with a couple scenes, and by the time I was screen testing, I had the scripts, and I was able to kind of start to fully invest in this world that Taylor wanted to create. And I had enough time to kind of fall in love with her. And, it was like I gave everything in me, like 110% for this role. And when I got it, it was like, I don't know if it was excitement or relief. I mean, it was intense, but it was so amazing. And then, shooting it is a whole, other story, but just being able to be part of the show and working with Billy Bob Thornton, who, he's one of the best in the business,
Oh yeah.
and to be able to like play ball with him, have Taylor, John Hamm, Demi Moore, Michelle, Jacob. I mean, the cast is incredible. And our crew is just, we have a crew of 300 that just shows up every day. And I've never been part of just, a set where the cast and crew and everyone gives so much of their self to this creative process.
Oh man, Ali. By the way, that crew. There's one guy I see in every Taylor Sheridan show. He's in the house with you. He lives in the house with you and Billy Bob, the bearded guy.
James Jordan.
James Jordan. He's the cop in
Yes.
Yellowstone. He's in Lioness. I mean, right? I
Yeah,
always.
he's amazing. He's in Lioness. He goes all the way back to Wind River with Taylor. So Taylor is an extremely loyal guy. And if you work with him and you give your best and you're a good person, he's going to bring you back around. And, James brings that comic relief to the show with us. And, he's so good
I
in
love that
everything
guy.
he does. And you definitely want to have martinis with James. He's hella fun.
Oh my God. Now, Ali. Okay, so you're auditioning 3 times. There's 10 other women. Now, were you in the
Yeah.
room with them? Were they all there? Would you like see them?
Yeah. Yes.
Would I
It was
recognize some of them?
really, it was really hard. I mean, I just kind of put on my AirPods and I just kind of left the building. I was extremely
That's
focused. I knew the material. It was 19 pages, including a two-page monologue that I think I did it was in the fourth episode. And so, you just have to keep your eye on the game. And I think one of the reasons Taylor puts you through this kind of heat is that when you are on his set, it's not this calm environment. You need to be able to perform under these conditions. You need to be able to work with movie stars. You need to be able to hold your own. And I think that that's why he puts you through the fire to know if you can like handle it.
Did you do any of these? Did you have to audition in the red bikini, or did you like pull out the red bikini? Like that'll at least get rid of 7 of the 10. Let me
It
just
was
put this on.
one of the hardest parts of going down there was having to do that. I mean, I don't know any woman my age that's super excited to throw on a bikini and heels. Like it's just a different ball game. I mean, I've had 2 babies, I mean, I'm in my late 40s. But you know what? It's like I take this time with this role because this character is so provocative and she's so comfortable in her body. And so for me, it's like I just got in fucking great shape. It's like I was eating really clean. I worked out 5, 6 days a week. I cut out all the wine. And so when I had to go into these scenes where I had to bear a lot of myself, I had as much confidence as I could find. And then I did all the work of the character to kind of zip into Angela's like leopard suit and know how she would walk into a room.
Have you started filming season 2? It's about now, isn't it?
Not yet. We haven't been announced yet. I don't know what we're doing.
Soon. Oh,
Yeah.
season 2. What do you mean you haven't been announced? Like we don't know. I know. Of course you have. I know for a fact that you're. I mean, Andy Garcia is coming in. He was at the end of season 1, and
It
Andy,
was.
he's going to be cartel boss in season 2. So
Maybe.
more heft coming in. But Ali, look, this role was made for you. Was it one of those? I mean, did you ever let yourself get to a place where what happens if I don't get this part? Is it because it's hard? Look, you live
I
not.
think it was the waiting process. It's what you're talking about because, my family, like my husband and I, we moved to Idaho 4 years ago, and that was kind of before it was even like cool to do so. It was kind of during COVID, and we made this choice for our family, knowing that, if we're not going to end up on a procedural show in Los Angeles, maybe there's a better life out there. Like maybe we want to work a little bit less and live a little bit different and kind of forge our own path for kind of more of a rebellious life, which is who, Hayes and I are. So we got here, and when this role came along and I kept inching my way, closer to it, it was going, oh my gosh, like this feels like it could be the third round in my career. Because I've been working, since I was 13 years old. And
Yeah.
I wanted to work with Taylor. I think he is a brilliant storyteller. And the first season of the show, while we were filming it, it wasn't without its challenges. It is incredibly intimidating. It moves very fast. We've got three cameras going. People are on microphones, and you better know your material backwards. And so I
Yeah.
think that being able to go in, do this material and then end the season and just go, wow, this pushed me to places as an actor because she is such an emotional tornado, Billy. It's like I laugh, I cry, I'm angry, I go through all these emotions, and
Psycho.
she's so bold that, to be able to, I've never really played that kind of character. I mean, the closest I think is Legally Blonde, but even then, it's nothing like Angela, who's such a wildcat.
Oh,
So I just, it was so fun. I fell in love with her, and then people fell in love with the show, and it's just that's the dream, babe. You don't always get it.
I mean, I gotta say, look, I want to get a picture of the Taylor Sheridan world. Like the way I see it, you're down in the Texas plains, and like on one side of the road it's Landman, on the other side of the road it's like Lioness, and then this is going on. You better know your stuff. It must move very quickly because he's got so much going on at once. Are there multiple productions happening at once on a giant compound? What does it look like?
No, it's all over. So we film in Fort Worth, Texas, which is so fantastic because it gives you a lot of the authenticity just being there. Fort Worth is very different from Dallas. Fort Worth really is the world of oil and cowboys. Like that is
Hmm.
it. And the show is set in Midland in the Permian Basin, so we also go there to shoot some stuff. But to be able to be down there is amazing. And the Lioness is right there in Fort Worth too. So sometimes our crew will move from place to place, and Taylor comes in and shoots a lot of my scenes. We have an unbelievable director named Stephen Kay who really has his total handprint on the show. And then if it's like an explosion or something super sexy or an incredibly emotional scene, like Taylor wants to be there, so he rolls up on set, and everyone's kind of on their toes for sure.
Does he have a huge like private jet right near, to he's
Pretty much so.
oh yeah. Have you flown on the Sheridan jet, Air
It's
Sheridan?
horses and Bentleys, baby. It's lots of cutting horses and lots of Bentleys,
I love that. Well,
Lots of really good red wine. You're drinking, you're up at the ranch. She served these unbelievable, like, Kobe sushi with caviar on top. I mean, and then you're out there with the horses in your cowboy boots. It's really, it's an authentic life to him. And now it's something that I've like fallen in love with being down in Texas. And I do hope that I get to be down there for many years to come.
working with Billy Bob must be. He's so the writing for him, every line he delivers. Same with your character, but the guy is like effortless. Does he? I mean, I have to imagine that being with Billy Bob is actually somewhat pressure packed because he's so damn good, but also relaxing because he's an easygoing dude.
Yeah, I mean, look, it all starts, well, the tone on set starts with number one on the call sheet, right? So with Billy, he's incredibly kind and great to the crew and great to all his actors. So, on the weekends, he's taking out the production department. He takes out, the hair and makeup teams. He takes out the ADs, and he's first to arrive, last to leave. And for me, he was there for all of my off camera, any phone call scenes, and he's just a very generous actor. You don't get that on every set. A lot of times, actors will do their work and run back to their trailer, and he just really is part of the environment. So start with that, and then you take the material that Taylor definitely wrote for him. I mean, this just kind of like comes right out of his mouth. It just like he is so natural within this role, and it really is him, more than anyone else on the show. Like, I'm definitely playing a character, like Michelle's playing a character, but Billy, this is like Billy and Tommy are so close.
Yeah.
And when you're in a scene with him, if something's not authentic, we're not moving on. So we put in the work, we put in the time, and we also worked together a lot before we started filming to try to figure out the Tommy Angela relationship, because the way Taylor sees things is that it's not just the first episode, it's the whole season, it's seasons. It's where are you going to go, 15 episodes from now, and making sure that we're laying like the little bit,
Oh,
and we're like, sprinkling it with the story so that there's somewhere to go.
I
And
need
that's what's been so great about working on
I
this.
need this show to go forever. Okay, so you have now. What's it like with do you have an intimacy coordinator when you have to do like a sex
Yeah.
scene with Billy Bob Thornton, who
Oh, ma'am. Ma'am is fantastic.
her name is
And
Ma'am?
so her name is Ma'am, and she is wonderful, and she puts all of us at ease, and she's there whether we're in bikinis or a little bit less. And, I think that everybody who knows a little bit about our business knows it's not easy to film these things. It's incredibly embarrassing.
Yeah.
You're self-conscious. It's the whole thing. You're also in a room, even on a closed set, there's 15 people there, and then the other 150 are outside, so you just have to lift outside of it. And for me, it's always making sure that I'm being honest and organic with how Angela would be in a situation. It's not me in that. So you have to just
Out of
stay in the
body.
work.
Out of
You have
body.
to stay.
How does Bill look? You're topless with Billy Bob. Is he like a total gentleman, or does he make a joke to like ease the room, or is there just like
A total
this
pro.
is
I
painful?
mean,
Let's get out of this as quickly as we can.
he's a total pro. There's someone in there with me, wrapping me, right up, right after, because it's never comfortable. The room's either hot or cold. You're sweating. You have to go to the bathroom. There's all that stuff. But the magic of movie making is that we sell it and we take you along on the ride.
I would think it'd be like, yeah, you're Billy Bob. You worked really hard to get yourself in the sickest shape ever. Not that you were ever not in great shape. I would be like, Billy Bob, how about a comment of pretty good? No, I mean, can I?
They can't do that.
They can't.
No,
He's
no.
thinking it. He's thinking it. He just can't say it. How about you?
Let's hope so.
What do you-
Let's hope so.
Your husband has been around in this biz. You guys are super close. Hayes is a great guy. The very handsome
I mean,
Studley.
look, he's down with Brooklyn Decker on his show. I mean, it's not too shabby for him either.
Oh my
His new
God!
show, The Runarounds,
He
is
won
coming
that
out this
one.
summer.
You got Billy. I love Billy Bob as much as the next man, but Brooklyn Decker. I mean, I think he won that.
Hayes is doing just fine. Okay, he's doing just fine.
Do you guys have petty arguments about? Well, you were a little handsy with Brooklyn Decker. I'm going to say that.
Never. We're not built that like that. I've been with my husband for 19 years, which is crazy. And so much of it is our friendship and that we have the best time together, and that, you have to have the longest leash, meaning like he has to trust me when I go to Texas. I trust him when he goes somewhere. And if he's dumb enough to mess up,
Bye-bye. Oh, don't think there's not a line, especially up there. Landman, now it goes around the block. And your daughter is played by Michelle Randolph, who's sort of hitting some crazy stride. She's,
Yes.
wild and crazy daughter with her wild and crazy mom. One of the best scenes, the two of you go to a seniors strip club. You take senior citizens to a strip club. I mean, you saw that in the script. You must have exploded. Like, this is going to be the best day of filming ever.
It was so lucky that it was the finale, because by then we were pretty primed on who our characters were, and we'd really found our rhythm in our mother-daughter relationship and our banter with each other. And so by the time, like, that was one of the easiest scenes to film. It was just like so butter. It was so just smooth, because at that point it's just owning that these characters, like they love to cause a stir, and they also are right. Why shouldn't these people be able to go to a strip club, have some drinks, and get a little wild in their final years?
Oh man, it's
Starting a movement.
I found it inspirational as well. It's what a beautiful message. Minus the heart attacks that can happen for an 85-year-old guy in a strip club.
That's the way to go, though.
Did you nail the accent? Is great. Angela's accent. She is a wild Texas woman with her heels and her bikini and her whatever, her ripping margaritas like nobody's business.
That's right.
Did you always have that? or did you have to
Well,
find
I
that?
worked with Jessica twice a week. I mean, the thing about me and Michelle, we became really close while filming, and she is such a talented young actress, and she is now getting so many opportunities.
Yeah,
And for the fact that she's on two of Taylor's shows, she deserves to be there. She tries so hard and gives all of herself. And I think that, again, like when you're an actor, you want to be around those people because that's how I am. I don't want anybody phoning it in. Move on to the next project. Like there's no
yeah.
space for you here. And so we really, enjoyed working together. And then we lived in the same apartment building and we worked
In
with our
Texas.
dialect all the time. And so really getting that twang down, the WHs, what, where, why, when, the air
Oh, I
in
love
those
that.
WHs and all and that kind of thing. It's pretty hard. But Angela grew up there. So this is not something that, it eases as you get older, but I'm telling you, you get down to Texas, this is it, baby. I mean, it is accents, fast ass cars. Women are tan, the hair is blonde, the heels are
Woo!
high.
Yeah. Everything's big in Texas.
Yeah.
So are you telling me that season 2 hasn't officially gotten the green light? I thought this was
They have
happening.
not been announced. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah.
Oh, I think you know what you're doing. They just haven't announced this. There's no way. It was so popular. The show was hot as fire.
Yeah. Yeah. It
Oh,
was it was amazing. I think it's like 2.6 billion like minutes viewed or something now. And just also to have gotten an international audience is amazing. And you have certain coastal elites who, usually like to like just be negative about everything. They embrace the show. And I think that what's interesting about it is that it is for everybody. You can find a connection with one of the storylines and how Taylor was able to take all the different tones. Like he knows, when you're in the hospital, with John Hamm, or you're in the Romeo and Juliet storyline, that sometimes you need a break. And then you throw us onto the camera and like you kind of get a permagrin on and it's a bit of relief
yeah.
from that kind of intensity. And he just weaves that throughout the show.
Ali, you've come such a long way. I mean, in 1996, Esquire named you a fictional character. That was you, Hollywood's next dream girl. I mean, that really got you going. Then there's Varsity Blues and then the famous whipped cream scene. That was really kind of your first scene in a movie, right?
It was pretty much my first scene in a movie, but Billy, we've been doing this for a long time, my friend.
Yeah.
It's
Long.
a long time and it's exciting. Ah, my God, take that
Oh my
down.
God. What? Hey, you
I
found
was
that. You didn't find the clip, but these
yeah,
guys, look at these guys, you found the whipped cream. Good
I
for
was
you,
like
fellas.
21 years old. I was just like, I was such a baby.
Legally
But that was
blonde.
also intimidating. But I also was game on for that because I felt like with Darcy, you have this character that you think is out for one thing, but she was really just vulnerable and trying to find her way out. This was the only way she thought she had. So for me, it's not only playing a woman who, is going to Princeton. You have to understand the women that aren't also and the different, ideals that they have in their life. And, for me, I've been so lucky to get to play so many different characters and hopefully never get put in a box, you
Yeah.
know?
You did Legally Blonde with Reese, and they're doing Legally Blonde 3. Is that, are you in?
Hope so. I mean, God, it would be such a dream to come back and to be able to work with Selma and be back with Reese. I know they're doing the TV show, so I assume that's probably going to punt that for a little while.
Mm.
And I don't know if Brooke's coming back. I mean, it's totally up to, I think Mindy Kaling was writing it. And I think if they found a place for that for a storyline, amazing. But if they don't, I hope it's just as much of a success as they can have.
You know, the I'm interested in the peaks and valleys. Like, I love you mentioned that you and your husband moved to Idaho 4 years ago, and it sounded like it was like a not a half retire, but an almost like, look, I don't know where this is going. Whatever, I want a better life. We want to go see what else is out there. I don't want to sit here on my in my house in Los Angeles going, when is the next thing? But it's hard to be an actor, really hard to be an actor, because it goes up and it goes down. Every actor should read Stoic philosophy so they know how to not ride the highs too high, not ride the lows too low. Was there a time where you thought,
I
that's
think,
it?
well,
That's
look,
it
I
for
mean, I
me. I'm
think the
done.
biggest thing is that you can't allow this business to determine your value. And that was a huge lesson for me to learn. And, when you live in Los Angeles, we were there for almost 20 years. Every billboard, every, bus stop are your friends who are on a new show. And, life does not just have an upward trajectory, especially not in our industry. It's like this, it's the peaks and valleys. And so when we came when our kids' schools were shut down for 2 months, and then they were still shut down. So we put them in school here, and we started to kind of fall in love with the idea of this place and this really small town. And we went back to LA for the summer. We'd recently built a house at the beach. We just said, can we give this a go? We were just spending a lot of time sitting in our cars, a lot of time, questioning, what is this with our careers? Why do I not feel good about myself in this place? It was so much having to build myself up every day to hit
Yeah.
like a positive norm. And that's not who I am as a person. So when we really made the decision to move away from there and now living here for almost 4 years, it's been such a gift to not live within the belly of the beast. I mean, I love our business. I'm grateful for it. I love what I do for a living, but I also really, for my sanity and our marriage and our children, it's really nice to be able to go to work and then come home.
Yeah. Ali Larter with us right now. I mean, Landman is just such an A-plus show. It's many seasons ahead, no question
Yeah.
on that. You ever look at parts that you almost got and think, oh man, that's probably a rabbit hole that you want to avoid, but something you said no to that later became fantastic.
I'm a really bad auditioner, to be honest with you. And so a lot of things like, Bond movies or different Marvel things, I've gotten all the way down the line and I get extraordinarily nervous. And, now I'm kind of old enough to understand like the introvert extrovert thing and, being married to a comedian. And also, you're totally an extrovert, Billy. There's nothing introvert about you. You scream extrovert, okay? Just give you a mic. All right, my husband. Give him a mic, send him to a party. Like he can hold court on any stage and it gives him energy. I am a nervous wreck. I'm like, I need to lay down for 2 days after I have to do like a public speaking announcement. It just makes me incredibly nervous. So for me, I've pretty much sabotaged my own. I haven't been able to deliver in the moments where I really needed to a
Wow.
lot of the time. And I think that the thing with Taylor is that there were so many of them that he burnt off my fear. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you
Wow.
got to the point where you were
You
like,
broke through. You broke the curse on Landman because you had 10 people and you were. I see that and I say that's only Ali Larter. I can't see anyone else doing that.
thank you. Thank you. Well, that's the greatest compliment. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for that. But yeah, I mean, there's different things along the way, but God, Billy, I'm also at the place where we're at the path that led me here is exactly where I want to be. My children are older now. Each time we had a baby, I stayed home for a couple of years with the kids. It was really important to me that my family always had that space and that, I had to fight my way back in this business each time because, you're like old and dated in your late 20s. By the time you're 30, I mean, that's just the way our business runs. And then every time you have a baby, they're like, she doesn't have it anymore. Like let's make sure she lost the baby weight. And you got to like stroll through these offices again. And it's a bummer. It's hard and it's embarrassing that that's kind of part of it. But it's also the way we look is who we are in some of our characters. So it is what I signed up for. But now that it's like, I've had this time and the jobs that I have gotten and haven't gotten, it's all kind of led me here. And I just feel really lucky that, I got to move to Idaho, that my children are thriving. They kind of love the Idaho, Dallas life, like Fort Worth life. They're into
Ooh.
it. And so I don't know. I'm okay for the ones I didn't get.
All right, well, wait
Pretty.
a minute. You dropped a couple of little Easter eggs, so I got to go back and pick them up. What Bond movie, what Bond girl could you have
I'm
been
not
had it gone
telling
better?
you.
Come on. Which
I'm
one?
not telling you.
Come on.
But they were in there. I'm not
Let
telling.
the sky fall. No? Which one?
Anything's possible. I'm not telling.
What about Marvel? What about Marvel? Which one? No?
No, I'm not telling. But it's like getting to the end of the line for these things, and then you
Hmm.
know, it's one or two auditions, at least for that. With Landman, it was so many that again, you're kind of, you're at the point where you're like, if you don't want me at this point, I don't want you.
Right.
like you're put through such the ringer that you just get to the place where there's like an inner confidence, like an inner solid like faith and trust that it's either going to work out or it's not.
Well, if you don't have Paramount Plus, get it immediately so you can see Landman. It is just unbelievable. Ali Larter just putting on a clinic as crazy hot Angela, the ex-wife, who comes back, and Billy Bob can't live with her, but more importantly, can't live without her. And it's just a great thing. Ali, I love you so much. Are you back to being able to sip a little of that Forever Gold wine of yours?
I love my Forever Gold. I mean,
have
yes.
it back? You can have it now, right? You're not in
exactly. I'm back on the wine train until they call me down to Texas, and then I go real clean.
Real clean, raw food, and back in the hills in Keeney. Oh man, you're
Totally.
great. Give my love and regards to your handsome as hell husband, Hayes MacArthur. Tell him I said hey. Thank you, Ali,
I'll
so much.
see you soon, I hope, okay?
Yeah, hope so.
Congrats on the show.
Oh, wait a minute. I got a great photo here. Do you guys... here's a great picture of two Allies, okay? My gal, Ali, and who is good friends with Ali Larter. They're two Allies, and she sent this picture to me, and she said, here, show this to Ali. Now, is that a couple of Allies right there or what?
That is definitely mom's night out. That was a mom's night out. I mean... I don't know, Billy. You think we still got it?
Oh, do you still? And there's not a person in the world that saw that photo and said, "No, give me either alley. Any alley, I'll take any alley."
You better treat her good.
Oh, you better.
You better treat her good, Billy.
Don't worry. I got to contend with you. Lots of love, Allie.
All right, bye.
I love you
You so much. Take care.